Yeah. Wait, should we record this? Because I saw this on my feed and I was going to leave a comment and I saw your comment on it. And then I
Yeah.
didn't even end up leaving my comment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing towards those big vision board business goals.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly unfiltered podcast. You always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy.
And I'm Madeline Daigan. And this is
hashtag
managed. I think it's perfect.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. Okay. This is so good. But okay, I want to ask this next question because I think, Nathalia, you're like a girl after our own hearts, being like multi-passionate, multifaceted, have all the things going on. Like, do we need to add more to our plate? No, but do we do? Yes, we all do. So that's just how we're like wired. So you're involved in 3 startups and co-host a podcast. And so we'll include all those links in the show notes as well, because I'm sure everyone's probably curious what they are. But what fuels your drive and how do you balance it all?
Honestly, I feel like what fuels my drive is the vision of the type of life that I want to build. Like I I just have like such a strong vision of like the generational wealth that I want to leave like my future kids and like my I don't know, like also like myself. Like I have a vision of like what I want my life to look like when I'm 30, what I want my life to look like when I'm 40. And not just for myself, but like on a deeper level, I'm going to go the deeper level and then the superficial one. On a deeper level, I've realized that I have a really strong why for like, I think whether we like it or not, like money really does pull strings like in the world. And, I believe money is just like a tool that like in the hands of good people can do a lot of good and in the hands of bad people can do a lot of harm. And so, I've realized like there's like a lot of single moms and a lot of like kids as well, or people in general who are in abusive situations or like bad situations who can't get out of it because they're financially dependent on somebody else. And so for me, like one of my long-term visions is like to help under because money is really a language and business is a language. Like people who understand business have like learned to speak that language, and it's something that can be taught, but just a lot of people like don't know that they can do something outside of the matrix, right? So I think for me, like one of my really core, like this is really deep, but like one of my underlying whys is like I would love to long term help empower people with the tools they need to start making money online. But in order to teach other people how to do that, you first have to have done that thing yourself. So that's like my like long-term why. Like my lighter whys, I mean, there's so many reasons, but because I hate being told what to do. I hate being told what to do. I hate being told when to do it, and I get bored. And so I think for me, I could not work a job that on a day-to-day basis I'm doing the same thing all the time, which is something I love about marketing, because you can do marketing for 100 different industries, like 100 different types of businesses, and for each one you get to learn so much about. Like if you're working with a wellness person, you have to learn about the wellness, the client, their ideal avatar. You have to learn about their product. You know, like if you're working with a doctor, same thing there. If you're working with like a local business that's like a juicery, like there's just like so many different like angles that you can take through it. So the job is fun, number one. And number two is, yeah, freedom of lifestyle. Like I've realized for me, like I want to know, I love extreme sports and like outdoor sports. And I'm like, I just want to know that like if it's snowing on the mountain, like I can go snowboard and do my work tonight. So I don't want to make it sound like it's like so glamorous, because like at the beginning while you're scaling, like there's definitely weeks where you quit a 9 to 5 to work 24/7, right? So like I don't want to make it sound like it's like easy. Like I definitely work a lot, but at least for me it's the autonomy of like if this year is successful or it's not successful, that's because of me, not because of anyone else. And so yeah, I don't know if that really answered, but that's like the gist of it. Yeah.
I love that. I would say it answered it and then some. And I feel like honestly you vocalize like even all of the things that like I feel like is why I started like
Yeah.
this and I'm like going end of this year's year 7, which to me is so
That's
crazy.
awesome.
And I, again, I can relate. I feel like 7 years in, I know most people probably look at that like, oh my gosh, 7 years, but it's so funny, right? We're always looking at the person like the next step or a few steps down
Yeah.
the road because, and I love, it's like, it makes me like, I'm
Yeah.
really super humble. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't think about me in that way. Like, I'm, thank you for like looking up to me, but please don't.
Yeah.
But I know I'm looking at people who are like, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year agency owners. And I'm like, that is, you're always kind of looking like down the road. And I think bringing it back to like that solid why. So I love that you brought it like deeper because I
Yeah.
think that let us get a
I
little glimpse too of what, why, your why.
I just wanted to like say one more thing to what you said is I think in the world of social media, like one thing is that like we can always forget, like have a skewed timeline because we see people who have been doing it for 7 years, like you guys, 7 years or like 10 years or 15. And it's so easy to look at somebody and be like, well, like they have it all together. And what I've realized is nobody has it all together. Like, I don't have it all together, maybe you guys have it. I don't have it all together.
Yeah.
It's like,
No.
I'm
No.
like, it's two things like remembering, because even talking about like when I was like, oh, it's fun, like blah, 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 like you forget that. Like once you're doing the job, you forget that. And so I think for me, like I have like two primary goals is like I grew up experiencing a lot of anxiety. Like that was like a huge part of my life. And so I'm like, how do I build a business in a way where I keep a regulated nervous system when things are really stressful? And also I learn to have fun with it. So I guess two things is remembering that I don't believe that like some people start their incredible businesses when they're in their 40s and that's great, So it's just like remembering that like we're all on our own timeline. Just because somebody does something when they're 22 and someone does it when they're 52, like it doesn't matter as long as you're like taking closer steps towards your dream life and remember that nobody has it figured out and remember to have fun with it because I believe that you make life fun. Like you bring the magic to your life. And if you forget to have fun, then you're going to start hating your job really quickly. So yeah.
Clip that. Harm. So good. One of the topics you mentioned was growing your marketing agency before you were ready. Can you share what that looked like for you?
Yeah. Oh my word. So I feel like say yes and then figure it out. Because I feel like with ChatGPT, there is literally no reason you can't do it. Like I know that sounds really silly, but like I think something that really helped me was realizing that there is nothing like I am just a person, and I have a lot of faults. And it's like if I can do it, like so can you. And so what really helped me starting out was realizing that a lot of marketing agency owners, like I, for some reason thought that like I needed to have like 10 years of experience working in the field before I would ever be qualified to be a business owner or to offer services myself, and then I realized that most marketing agency owners anyway, even if they know what they're doing, most of them are hiring an 18-year-old who, you know what I'm saying, like who is managing the blog writing, the emails, the social media, who has just as much experience as you. So like at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not saying that's how it necessarily should be or like promote. I'm just saying at the end of the day, a lot of marketing agencies don't really know what they're doing and don't understand sales funnels. And I'm not saying that to like in a diss way, but more in an empowering way when you sit down and realize that like you can learn like in the digital age, you can learn any skill, YouTube University, Chat GPT, perplexity.ai, like go do your research and like try it. Like if you can just find a business owner, maybe you do a results oriented where like you get a performance based campaign, like, at the beginning, like if you're just starting out, like you can do performance based work, you can do whatever until you like crack the code niche down and figure it out. But like, I think say yes, then figure it out. Like there's so many jobs where like, especially at the beginning, people would be like, do you source UGC creators? Yes. I don't know how to do that, And then And then you figure it out. And what's the worst thing I think for me is just like remembering like I personally, like I have a very high risk tolerance. So I know that there's a million and one ways to run a business. I'm not saying that this is the case for everybody, but for me, I think the best way that I learn how to do stuff is when I'm thrown into the deep end and you either figure out how to swim or you learn how to sink, you know, or you don't. Well, you don't really learn how to sink. You either sink or you learn how to swim. But just like say yes, believe in yourself, and then do the work it takes to figure it out. Because for me, I'm like, even if it's hard, like if anyone else on this planet can learn how to do something, like so can you. Like if you're listening to this, like there is nothing that anyone else has on this planet that like nobody's that special. Like in the best way possible, nobody is so special that you can't figure it out. So will it take maybe a couple failures? Maybe. But like at the end of the day, what's the worst thing that happens? Like you say yes to something and then you can't deliver and then you make it right. Like you return compensation or you do what you need to, and you got experience from that you wouldn't otherwise have. So the next time you're 50% closer. So yeah, two things. Number one, nobody ever feels ready. You can be, and honestly, whether you start a business when you're in your 50s or you start a business when you're in your 20s, you won't know what you're doing either way, whether you've worked like 15 years in a corporate job or you've worked none. Like when you start entrepreneurship, you basically start at zero, because it's different. You're the marketer, you're the accountant, you're the fulfill, like at the very beginning until you obviously like hire out and do all the things, but nobody knows what they're doing. Even the people who you think know what they're doing, they still have imposter syndrome. Like when you realize that people are just people, like they all, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but you can bleep this out. They all shit the bed. They all like, everyone is just a human. Like everyone has peed their pants at some point in their life. Like we all, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, they're all humans. Like we're all humans. Nobody is special. You can do it. But of course, like, again, managing the mind, your mindset can say one thing and your body can say something totally different, you know? So like expect the anxiety, expect the imposter syndrome, and you can do things afraid. I think that's been my biggest lesson is like, you can have major anxiety and you can still get the things done that you need to do. Like don't let your fear stop you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think doing it scared is like the best advice. And it's one thing to say that to someone, but for them to actually build that confidence, even if it's just an ounce, you just need an ounce of confidence and do it scared. And I love what you said, because this was kind of like our like question of the year for 2024. But like what's the worst that could happen? I think we phrased it as like what's the best that can happen. We were like, you know what, we priced
So
our
good.
way higher than ever before. We pitched to brands. We did so many more things like outside of the box that like quote unquote we wouldn't have done before, playing it safe. Like we could have certainly stayed the same level, but I think taking that extra mile really like goes the next way. And so our next question, I'm going to reword a little bit because I think we've talked and you've shared some really good things around mindset shifts, but I want to know more specifically, like, are there any systems that helped you grow before you fully felt prepared?
Yeah, I think systems is actually something that is one of my weaknesses, and I'm still really in the process of organizing. So I'm not going to pretend like I have this all together, but I will tell you, um, I'm going to say a statement and then I'm going to answer your question. But I think the first thing is sometimes I think talking to the person who's just starting out, sometimes people are so worried about setting us up systems, setting up or even like tax saving strategies, or setting up their LLC, or setting up all of these stuff. And it's like at the beginning, like honestly, in my opinion, until you're past like 10 clients that you have on retainer, it really doesn't matter that much. I mean, it should like set the foundation properly so you can scale. But I think it's always really interesting. I think sometimes talking about systems, I think sometimes people do it out of order, where they spend so much time perfecting systems for clients that they don't have, that to me, I'm like, why are you like, when you only have 3 clients, you don't need to be paying $200 a month for an invoice management system or like some communication system tracker, when you could literally just do the communication over email, or join that person's like internal team, or just make your invoices on Canva. Like,
Mhm.
you don't need, sometimes I think like you don't have to overcomplicate your business. Like to have a successful business and to have really, like, you want good margins. And so it's like at the beginning, truly, I'm like a firm believer, you can keep it super simple. Like, what service do you offer? Having the system of selling, like, do you know how to close people? Like, if you can collect money from people and deliver the service, like, I think the systems matter a lot more once you're like past that. Like, I have like 10 clients on retainer. Because before then it's like not that, but okay, I'll share my systems, and I'm working on this because I feel like now I'm at this pivotal point where it's like, I have quite a few, like I have scaled so much in this last year, and I have so many clients on retainer that I'm at a point now where I'm like, I need to organize my systems or this is going to become really chaotic really fast. So that's my side note. But for systems, small things that I've done that have made a really big difference is Notion. Notion.ai is like literally my lifesaver. Everything is organized in one place because I think for me, it's really hard if you have a Google Drive, like if you have a ton of stuff on Google Drive and then you have stuff on like, I don't know, Microsoft Word, and then you have stuff here and then you have stuff like all over the place. It can get so confusing. So for me, having a Notion that if you haven't tried Notion.ai, everyone needs to be using it. Every business owner needs to use Notion.ai. But basically, it integrates AI. I mean, you can build Excel, Google Drive, AI. You can make invoices. Like, it has everything on there for brainstorming. Like, it's incredible as a tool for organizing. So I have different for my marketing agency for each. I have a workspace for my marketing agency. And then within that, I have different pages for each client that I have on retainer. And then I have a page for documents and like sales and then meetings and podcasts, and all the things are organized so clearly. And then for each client, I have specific to-do list tasks, like on under like pages in the pages for the to-do list. And then I have like everything from like my contracts to my invoices, like everything are on there. So Notion is a great system I have that really helps me stay organized with like project management and making sure that everything's done. My chat GPT, having specific project folders, like I mentioned before, for every client, and that you've trained that brand voice so well, makes copywriting and social planning and brainstorming so easy, and will cut your time in half. It will cut your time in half. Absolutely. And then the other thing is, for social media management in particular, having B-roll footage that I've organized on my phone. I edit in CapCut most of the time. So just like having designated like photo albums for each client, that it's like this client, this client, this client, this client, makes content creation so fast because you go onto the chat and you're like, hey, I need like this, like with like, I need a really strong cook that has a potential to go viral with educational information about this, or like you learn how to tailor very specific instructions, and then you just combine your B-roll. Like, that has made it so much quicker for me. And then another system is on Canva. Like, I don't know, I do a lot of my invoicing just through Notion and Canva. So like, I have my logos, I have my brand images set up through there. And then I have like an invoice PDF document that I just will update every month at the end of the month. And on my calendar, I'll time block, like I have my dates for invoicing, like blocked out. And then I always try to like do my deliverables for clients, like as far in advance as possible. And then for contractors, because I have a couple contractors that work in my agency as well. That's where I'm really needing to organize systems further, because knowing how to do something, and then when you move from that solo entrepreneur to a team, is where I think there's a lot more. Learning how to manage a team is its own skill set. And so I really can't give that much advice, because I'm still so in the process of trying to figure out, like, how do I train somebody to do the thing that I do so easily, as easily for them, which is like, those are making that transition to learning how to teach is very different. So that's
like
kind of
Jessica.
Yeah.
Answer her. Because I was a solopreneur, and then I got brought into Social Savvy, which is the agency. And like, because everything you just said, I'm like, I resonate with that 100%.
I'm
Yeah.
also curious, like, what systems do you guys use? Like, what are your, like, I need these softwares to, like, survive?
Yeah, yeah. So I have to say and I'm the first to admit like when I'm wrong. It's a new thing for me. My husband's
Totally,
probably
yeah.
oh yeah, sure, sure you are. But when I first started out in business, and started like really scaling into clients, it started a few years prior to COVID, and 2020 it was a great business year. I'm not gonna lie, crazy, crazy year for the world, but for business, it was. I mean, there was a point where I was by myself and I had 21 clients.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I myself, I worked 7 days a week. I didn't see anyone. I mean, it was in
Yeah,
lockdown
yeah, you're like, yeah.
anything, but it was very very intense, and that's when I realized like I need systems. I need to get back my time. My time is the most valuable thing here. And the first thing that I immediately thought was, I can't do it. I was like, I'm a creative, I'm a marketer, I can't do anything operationally. And so my first hire was for someone, a systems VA, to help me set up a lot of systems. Terrible. They
Yeah.
did not work with my brain at
Yeah.
all. There goes that money down the drain. Then, as I kept scaling the team, I started scaling with contractors who were social media managers who helped. And at the time, I had two, and then we were able to manage everything. And I'm like, you know what? I need an online business manager. I need someone to help me with systems. I can't do it on my own. Was the story that I kept telling myself.
Mhm.
Hired a very, 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 very expensive, two very expensive online business managers, might I add. Money down the drain. Everything that was set up, terrible. Everything at that point was set up inside of ClickUp. I hate ClickUp. It does not work for my brain. It did not work for the team. It created way more messes than anyone needed. And then projects and just overall client deliverables and experience fell through. And I'm like, then what do I have at this point if I'm selling a really terrible service at social?
Totally.
So again, took me several thousands of dollars in hires to realize like, no, I think I actually can figure this out. And I think I love that you brought that up. Like people set up systems before they have clients or before they get to certain client thresholds. And
Yeah.
I'll say like you really don't need it until you're at a certain level. And whether
And then
that's
you really need it. Yeah.
yeah, and, well,
Yeah.
that's the unfortunate part, but it's also like it's also a fortunate part where it's like you said, stay lean, have good profit margins, and that at the end of the day of running the agency is your biggest beast. Like your biggest thing is the cost, and so if you can stay super lean, so I started to step out of the implementation, which was really hard because, like you said, how do you replicate what you are
But
really
that's
good?
how you grow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and took a while, a couple, like I'll say a couple years, I'm not gonna lie. And I realized, you know what, I'm really good at what I do. People hire social savvy for me, even though it hadn't been a personal brand for like years and years, which was really interesting. But anyway, people were hiring me through word of mouth and for the client experience. So I'm like, how do I replicate a good client experience to the team? Because
Mhm.
no one's gonna love your business the way you love your business. And
Exactly.
right now our team is so great. Like Maddie, everyone who's on the team, like I know they love social savvy, but I love social savvy to like
It's your baby.
yeah, to like a creepy like Joe Goldberg from You level. Like that's how much I love social savvy.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, I think once you really step out of you're like, okay, I need to bring back my time. Look at the business like from an operation standpoint of
So
how
good.
do I get back my time? Look at all the time sucks. I think doing like a time audit super important. I was
So
always
good.
I don't need to do that. I work this, I'm fine. Once I did a time audit and realized at that point the time audit of how much time I spent on every single project, internally, externally with clients, I looked at how much money I'm actually paying myself. I'm like, oh crap, I'm really making nothing. I would make more money probably. Not really, but I was like, maybe I'll make more money working at fast food at this point. You have to like really understand your numbers to really
Yeah.
understand what the problems are. And so that's where I feel like setting up the systems make the most sense. For me, the first system to set up was client experience. So our project management for every single client that comes in. And for me, that started in the onboarding process. So from lead to paying client, uh,
Hmm.
have an account manager on our team now. So my biggest thing was, how do I really separate myself? Like I'm still with her in terms of like the selling, and I'm a part of every one of our clients' projects to this day. But I knew my role had to step out a little bit. So documenting everything is super helpful.
Yep.
So my favorite for if you were gonna time audit, and I think you should just use it in general. We use it as a team. We use Toggle, TOG,
Yes. Yeah.
as a team. Super easy, super simple. Everyone knows how to use it. It's really easy to do. You can get really, really clear with projects, tasks, clients, and really get good. You can see good reporting on that. I think that's really important. The next step is to use a project management system. Now I haven't used Notion for the longest time. Last time I used Notion was there was no AI integrated into it. So
Mhm.
now that they're Notion AI, I'm like, interesting. I come from a corporate background, so I have like years and years of experience in Asana.
Yep.
So that was where I was like, you know what? Forget ClickUp. It's pretty, it's expensive, but it doesn't work. So I'm like, let me get back to what I know. I know Asana. I can build it out through and through, save the money, which
Yep.
immediately was yes, and set it up in a way that makes sense for my brain and the team's brains. Like
Yeah.
everyone on the team to look at a view that makes sense for them. But I want to look at a view of a project, of a timeline of something, and it makes sense for me too. So
I No, I think everything that you said is so valuable. It's the time on all of it, but I feel like what you said about like hiring all of these people to build the operations for you, and then realizing that nobody knows your brain the way you do, nobody knows your company the way you do, and I think that that's so like it's um so like a lot of times we think like we only have this one skill set, and this skill set is my thing, and like I can't do these other things. But like I love what you said of like at the end of the day, it's like you spend all like nobody else is going to be able to create a system of organization that works for you like you will be able to. And yeah, I definitely like I will be doing a time audit like this week because like I said, like I have a lot of contractors who help, but like when it comes to like there's a lot more stuff that I'm ready to outsource now. And so I'll be re-listening to this and taking notes because that's very, yeah, very valuable.
I'll say the next thing too, and I'll save it because I know we have to get to the final questions here. But the last thing that I'll say, if you are thinking of like outsourcing or really wanting to perfect your process and replicate it, is I'm going to say it. Everyone's going to cringe when I say it, but just bear with me. Create standard operating procedures,
Yes.
SOPs. I
Yep.
know, so boring, they suck, they do. Use a tool like Tango. It's a Google Chrome plugin. I think their free version works just as fine. It's going to watch your screen, and it's going to create with AI an automated or automated, it's AI. It's going to create a list everything that you do step by step. I think it presents it in either a video or like a step by step guide. And it's just one of the best ways to actually replicate that into something that makes sense. I think, especially for marketing agencies, I've stepped into clients' businesses in the past and they're like, oh, our OBM set up SOPs for admitting people into our Facebook group or something. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
know how to do that, but like where do those people go after the fact? I'm reading this Google Doc of just words and words and words, and I'm like, no one has time for that. Again, going back to like time
Yep.
is your most important asset as an agency owner.
Yep.
So yeah, so many tools that can be added
So
in.
good.
I think the free versions are always the go-to. Like I'm always one to recommend using the free versions or using the concept of a free tool and then using like a chat GPT. Like again, I do think if you're going to use chat GPT, pay for that one. I think it's worth it.
Oh,
But
100%. Yeah, I pay for all of mine, but yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
so good.
Okay, so each week we do what's on my feed, and this could be, something that's on your For You page, your Explore page, whatever. But what is on your feed this week?
Oh man. I feel like so actually for each account that we manage through my business, I actually have like I like curate my feeds like for them. So I will say that like my favorite is honestly my podcast account is the one that like I save like that is like I feel like I have two feeds. I have my like brain rot feed that's like on my personal account that is like all the memes that I'm sending like my boyfriend, my friends. And I'll give you that one first. What's on my feed is a little bit scary. I have all of these like degenerate AI, like weird, just weird memes. Like it's like I had like 3 grandmas that were like have you seen like those animals that like come to, I don't know if you've seen, my feed is weird. Like it is weird on my personal account. Like my personal account just basically has like, it has a lot of like business memes, wellness memes, like, and then random like really, really, it's really hard to describe the AI memes unless you've seen them, but they're like these like weird molding, like
I
the
definitely know
pineapple
what you're
starts
talking about.
talking and then
Yeah.
turns into a cat. I'm like, why is this
Yeah.
here? I have no idea. That's on my personal account. I'm trying to fix that. We're trying to get out of that. But on my podcast account, I feel like that's like where I get all of my, it's like very curated. I really love like aesthetic, like inspirational, like lifestyle content. Like I enjoy consuming that. Like I feel like I scroll through my feed and then I'm like, oh, I'm excited to like get up and do something with my day after watching it. So
You're
I
also
feel like
great at making it.
you're so sweet. It's fun. I'm like, this is fun. Like I want to put stuff out there that's like, that makes people want to live. I mean, this sounds so
Yeah.
dark, but you know what I mean? Like that makes people like want to like get up and like go do something that's like productive for
Get off
themselves.
their phone. Like
Exactly.
get off their phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And go live. So I know that's like not super helpful. I don't have like a specific like trend that like at the moment, you know, sometimes like you go through and like you have like a really strong trend that's like everywhere on everything. This week in particular, I didn't have like all of the same style come up. So it's really sad. But what's been on your feeds? I'm like,
Ooh, okay, on my feed is, and we talked about this a couple of episodes ago as this is like airing, but the Saratoga spring water with
ooh.
fitness influencer. I won't go too much into
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
if you guys are listening and you haven't seen it, definitely Google it. But every brand jumping on the parody of him doing this morning routine with, dumping the water
Yes.
and then putting his face
Yeah,
in the
yeah. I've seen that on my feed this week. Yeah.
bowl. Meanwhile, like the one I'm loving is like the Captain Crunch mascot. Like I'm
Yep.
like 10 out of 10. Great. Like again, why that's on my feed, I have no idea. But so funny. Any parody of any trend that goes viral, I think is always my favorite to see from like big, like Fortune 500 marketing.
100%.
And then the unwell spring break,
Yes.
that was on my feed. But anyways.
I love, all of Unwell's content is just top tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
They brought back like the mannequin challenge. And I loved
Yes.
They brought back like the mannequin challenge, and then all the comments were like, Gen Zs are gonna think that they invented this when like they don't know that like I honestly comment sections just like I could spend all day, like sometimes like I don't even want to watch TV. I just want to pull out my phone and like scroll. Like there's nothing like a good doom scroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 10 out of 10 would recommend that if anyone needs a good thing to do later today after listening to this podcast. Okay, before we close out our show, we always love to ask our guests for sharing their weekly report. So we'll run through the acronym really quickly. So what are you currently reading?
Okay, so I'm currently reading You Are a Magnet by Amber Lyon, and I'm about to read Who Not How, talking about hiring. So
Ooh, okay, good. That reminds me, I have a couple of books that I'm going to send to you that
please.
I've been reading over my like team and
yeah, no, I'm gonna need. I want all of them. So
because wait, isn't Who Not How written by Jess? I think that's like one of your favorite is like the 10X.
Yes.
Like it's the same author, right? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if it's the same author, but I have those 2 books next to each other on my nightstand. So I'm like, the correlation has been made through my brain. I don't know. Maybe it is.
Okay.
I think it might
check
be.
that out. We'll book swap because
Yeah.
10x is better than 2x is my work Bible. So
Love that.
what is one thing that you're currently eating?
Okay, I've been really obsessed with dates with butter and sea salt, and Hue dark chocolate, and sorry, I have 3, and the Promix protein puff bars. They taste like Rice Krispie treats. So
Do you have
Ooh.
a code for any of those?
I do not have a code for any of them. I'm just buy them. Like
I'm like, give me all your affiliate links, all of them.
yeah.
What are you currently playing? This could be podcast, show, movie, anything.
You know, it's so funny. I took, like, when you asked me this question, I took it such a different direction. I was like, pickleball.
Oh wait, that's fun though.
No, pickleball. And then so I was thinking pickleball when I first read this question. I go through like phases of like hobbies that I just like over obsessed with. And right now we're in a pickleball phase, but TV show wise, I've been rewatching Gossip Girl. I'm like a big Gossip Girl fan, and Sex and the City. So those are like the
Oh,
two
yes.
that I'm like,
oh yes.
they're just like, those are my comfort shows while I work and do all my stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. What
Yeah.
are you currently obsessing over?
ooh, um, again, initial reaction, probably not like the typical answer, but like just small steps in the right direction and like compounding progress. Like I think I'm just like in a season of such like exponential growth that like it's making me so happy to just see like small things that you do on a daily basis add up. And I'm also obsessing over sunshine because winter was long here and I love winter because I love skiing, but I'm currently really obsessing over like just like seeing the sun. Like every time I see it, I'm like, I need to get out of the house. I need to go do something. So yeah.
What is one thing you're recommending?
I'm currently recommending, again, first thing that came to my head, rest and boundaries. Like I'm just like really recommending doing like it, honestly what you said about like reclaiming your time, but just remembering that like life is made for living, not being like a hamster on a treadmill all the time. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And finally, to close out our weekly report, what are you treating yourself to lately?
ooh. Probably like beauty and self-care wise, like I just feel like I've been willing to like spend a lot more on like self-care than I have in the past. So yeah, like facials, nails, like all the fun treats.
Yeah.
You even mentioned that on your podcast, so I'm obsessed.
Yes. No, exactly.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Natalia, thank you so much for your time today. And I think we learned so much. And honestly, I feel like in like the middle of the episode, there's like a good little like sales masterclass in there. So I just feel like people are gonna like bookmark things and come back to it. But where can our listeners find you online?
Yeah. So the place to find me for most of like adventure, like my main account is at Nathalia Adventures, where you can kind of like catch up with me on my life. And then I link to everything else from there, for business content and for my agency, which honestly, I've gotten so much inbound clients that I just don't market myself enough, but that is something that's on my 2025 like bucket list. But you can follow that on No Limits Marketing Strategies or go to my website, No Limits Marketing Strategies, for inquiries on work. And then the Wealth and Wellness Studio, you can find that on any streaming platform or also on Instagram for podcast. And then really quickly to like shameless plug for self, but um, Vibe. So starting this company that's going to be launching probably end of Q2, beginning of Q3 this year. That's called Vibe Parties. But basically, without giving too much away, we're going to be we're creating like a party in the box that's delivered to people's houses that make hosting super effortless and fun so that we can bring back like real life connection with people. And so we have the cutest like products that are in place where we are like, these boxes are going to be so fun and they're going to help you throw like the most epic like hosting and gathering like events on the planet. So we're not super active yet, but we're going to be doing a really massive giveaway with our with like launching the wait list. So we're going to be giving away throwing somebody their dream party for free, and like paying for all of it and doing all of it. So it's going to be really fun, and giving away a lot of like free disposable cameras that are branded amazing, like tote bags, sunglasses, like all this stuff. Like they're really cute, really trendy, really fun. So you can follow Vibe Parties, or just follow me on social media. You're going to hear a lot more about that, but that's kind of, yeah. And then there's a couple other things in the works, but just follow my Instagram and you'll hear about them. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, we, of course, everyone listening will put all of those links inside of the podcast player that you're listening to, and also on the show notes on #manage.com. And yeah, thank you again so much, Nathalia. This was so good. We knew it was going to be good, but it was great.
No,
So,
you guys are awesome. I feel like I just made my new best friend, so you guys are great. And
we're also like, okay, we're taking notes. We're like, okay,
Likewise.
we're like, okay, we're gonna follow up on all of these, and
Yep,
also
yep,
have
same.
crazy ideas. We're gonna like reach out. So we've
Same.
found people here. So this was so good.
Oh, amazing.
So thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of #Managed. We will catch you guys next week on the airwaves. Listen up, social media managers, freelancers, and online business bosses. If you're still out here trying to Google your way to success, it's time for an upgrade. The #Managed Collective is a free Facebook group where we ditch the fluff and get real about what actually works in social media management. Community, coaching, and resources. Because your ideal clients don't just magically find you. We're a group of 20,000 plus social media managers, and it's absolutely free to join us. So what are you waiting on? Join now at #manage.com/group. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you made it this far, I think we've officially become internet besties. You can always call into the #hotline and say hello, leave a review, or ask your burning questions.
Make sure you follow, rate, and review the podcast wherever you're listening from. Subscribe to the Social Club newsletter for our weekly email, and shoot us a DM over at #managed on Instagram, letting us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode.